Are you planning to move to Australia in 2025? Major visa rule changes are about to reshape how students, skilled workers, and families enter and stay in the country. And if you're not prepared, you could miss your chance completely. Stay with me because what you're about to hear could make or break your Australian dream. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're thinking about moving to Australia in 2025, whether to study, work, or settle down, there are massive visa changes you need to know about. The Australian government has announced new rules that will impact almost every visa category, from skilled migration and student visas to partner and regional visas. These changes are not just small adjustments, they are game changers and could affect your chances of getting approved. In today's video, I'll walk you through everything you need to know in simple, clear language so you can avoid costly mistakes and stay ahead of the curve. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave your questions in the comments below. Let's get started. First up, changes to skilled migration pathways are significant. Earlier, there were clear-cut streams for skilled independent visas, employer-sponsored visas, and regional visas. But in 2025, Australia is tightening eligibility requirements across the board. Skill shortages remain a priority, but the government is increasing minimum requirements for occupations in demand. In many cases, you'll need higher levels of English proficiency, sometimes a higher level of qualification, and more work experience than before. For example, if you're applying for a skilled independent visa, you might need to demonstrate advanced English rather than proficient. In many occupations that are already listed as scarce, the points you get for English will be more heavily weighted. This means if your English isn't strong, you'll struggle for the points necessary. You'll need to invest in improving English, perhaps take exams again, or prepare more thoroughly. Qualifications, too, are under scrutiny now more than ever. Australia wants qualifications that match the Australian standards precisely. Foreign diplomas, certificates, or degrees might need further verification or additional bridging programs, especially if they are from institutions or countries that haven't previously been considered equivalent to Australian institutions. Work experience is also getting stricter expectations. You might need more years in your profession before you can claim full points for that occupation. Doing similar work overseas won't always be enough if the role doesn't align closely with how that occupation operates in Australia. So detailed job descriptions, references, statutory declarations, and sometimes even supervised assessments might become part of the application. Second change is about regional visas. Australia is pushing more people into regional areas, encouraging applicants to live and work outside of major cities. This means more incentives and maybe priority processing for regional visa holders. But it also means stricter conditions. Certain regional visas may require you to stay in a designated regional area for longer periods before becoming eligible for permanent residence. If you currently live or plan to live in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, or Adelaide, take note. The regional areas may have expanded definitions and more new local government areas might become regional. At the same time, some visas that previously offered easy access to permanent residence from metropolitan areas may no longer get that benefit unless you move or commit to a regional location. There's also a shift in focus to make temporary work visas more accountable. Many temporary work visa holders will have to adhere to stricter obligations regarding employer sponsorship, compliance with labor laws, skills training, and workplace safety. Australia is trying to reduce exploitation and ensure that visas are not misused as a means to bring in cheap labor without oversight. Moving on to student visas, there are alterations here too. Student visa applicants will likely need to show more financial capacity than before. Not just tuition and living expenses, but additional funds for healthcare, travel, and potential delays. Evidence of funds will be more rigorously assessed. Banks or financial institutions providing statements may need to meet more specific standards. Course duration rules are also changing. Certain courses previously counted toward post-study work rights might not be eligible if they are too short, if they're not on the approved list, or if the provider doesn't meet stricter quality benchmarks. Students will need to make sure their course and institution are on the newly approved lists to benefit from post-study work permits. Visa processing times are expected to be longer initially while these new assessments, verification processes, and compliance checks are fully implemented. Visa applications may take more time. Applicants should expect delays and possibly higher costs due to additional documents, medicals, police checks, and third-party assessments. Another key change relates to the English language tests. There is talk of shifting minimum score thresholds higher, perhaps introducing specific score bands per occupation. If you are relying on IELTS, TOEFL, or other test results, know that the scores you needed in past years may not be sufficient in many cases. Preparation might need to be more thorough and retakes more likely. Health checks and character requirements are also being tightened. Medical exams may require more detailed screening for certain diseases, especially if coming from regions with higher risks. Character checks involving criminal history or associations will be more detailed, perhaps with wider searches for past convictions or misdeeds, even those long ago or outside Australia. Some temporary visas that previously allowed many transitions into permanent residency might lose that pathway unless certain new conditions are met. For example, holding a temporary visa for a set time, working in regional areas, or doing specified occupations might be required now before you can apply for permanent residency. There are changes to family and partner visas. Partner visas might have additional waiting periods, more proof of relationship, stricter checks on sponsors' capacity, including income and character requirements. Family reunion visas may have sharper financial thresholds, meaning sponsors must demonstrate higher income levels or assets to support family members coming in. Also, changes are expected in international student post-study work rights. In some cases, the duration of post-work rights might be reduced for certain course levels or types, or only granted if certain criteria are met, such as staying in a regional area, maintaining minimum GPA, or having completed a course in a priority occupation list. For those in the pathway of study to permanent residency, this change means mapping your course or institution early to the requirements and making sure everything you do aligns: grades, attendance, financial records, health, character, English, institution registration. Migration agents and education agents will need to become more careful about advising students and skilled migrants. Providing incorrect or incomplete information is riskier than ever. For applicants, avoid cutting corners, double-check your documents, maybe consult legal or migration advice to ensure you meet all criteria. There is also a shift in visa fees. Many visa subclasses are seeing increases in application charges. These are to cover the costs of more thorough processing, security, health checks, character verification, and administrative burdens. Costs for family, partner, employer-sponsored, student, and skilled visas may all climb somewhat. On top of fees, there could be additional costs for certain applicants: translation of documents, overseas health exams, police checks from multiple countries, specialist skills assessments, English test retakes, maybe even relocation costs to regional areas if required. If you're already in Australia on a visa applying for renewal or for bridging visas, expect more rigorous review of your current visa conditions compliance history. Failure to comply with visa terms in the past could weigh more heavily in decisions now. Visa cancellations and visa condition breaches may be more strictly enforced. If your employer or sponsor fails to comply with labor or immigration laws, your visa could be at risk. Similarly, for student visa holders, failure to maintain course attendance or violate visa conditions might lead to earlier cancellation or refusal to renew. On a positive note, there are some benefits for applicants in priority or critical sectors, especially healthcare, aged care, agriculture, regional infrastructure, and certain tech occupations. Applicants in these categories may find priority pathways, expedited processing, or bonus points in point-based systems. If you work in healthcare, nursing, allied health, or certain engineering or construction trades in shortage areas, or technologies such as AI, cybersecurity, renewable energy, you may be able to access easier visa options or get additional weight in points assessments. As Australia grapples with skill shortages, especially outside of major cities and in regional areas, these incentives are designed to attract people to move where they're most needed. This rise in demand for certain occupations could give advantage to applicants with those skills, as long as they meet all other tightened requirements. Another change is toward digitalization and verification improvements. Document verification might increasingly happen via digital systems, biometrics, online portals. Some information may need to be submitted through approved platforms, secure systems, or validation through third parties. Manual paper submission may be less acceptable than before. You may be asked for more detailed proof of your identity, biometric data, fingerprints, maybe facial recognition, or multi-factor verification. These measures are meant to reduce fraud, misrepresentation of documents, false claims of identity or skill or qualification. Migration authorities are also investing in more robust anti-fraud systems. If your documents are found to be manipulated or misstated, consequences will likely be harsher. Visa denial or cancellation could follow, and penalties may apply to sponsors or employers who misrepresent facts. If you have family or employer sponsors, their roles are being scrutinized more closely. Sponsors will need to demonstrate capacity to support you financially, abide by regulations, meet legal obligations, maybe show that they meet income thresholds and character tests. Failure to do so could lead to visa refusal or sponsor disqualification. For temporary residents, the pathway to permanent residency is being restructured in many visa subclasses. Expectations about length of stay, work in regional areas, and occupation type may all figure more heavily in eligibility than just time spent in Australia. Something else to watch: labor agreements and state or territory nomination are being updated. State nomination requirements may become tougher, and some states may change which occupations they nominate or sponsor. Each state or territory may recalibrate their needs based on local shortages, infrastructure, population growth, and budgets. If you are relying on a state nomination visa or regional nomination visa, check the latest lists that states publish. Make sure your occupation is currently nominated. Make sure you meet all latest state requirements, including local labor market checks. There are also adjustments to priority levels and quotas. The total number of visas granted for some categories may be reduced, quotas tightened. Priority processing slots may be reserved for critical sectors or for people willing to work in regional or underserved areas. Catch is, more demand than supply means competition will be stiff. You should expect that points required for skilled migration may increase if many applicants apply. If your score is borderline, you might miss out unless you boost it via additional qualifications, English, work experience, or applying for occupations in demand. For temporary business visas, working holiday visas, and visitor visas, there are also potential changes. Working holiday visa age limits, conditions of work, permitted work duration might be adjusted. Visitor visas might come with more rigorous purpose of visit verification, possibly new financial and character checks. If you are planning to travel for tourism or family visit stay durations, visa extension possibilities, or multiple entry permissions may be restricted more than in past years depending on geopolitical and public health considerations. On the health front, expect more detailed health examinations, especially for longer-term stay, permanent residency, or migration from countries with known health risks. Health insurance coverage or proof thereof may be required sooner and more clearly. Thanks for watching. I hope this video gave you the clarity you need to understand Australia's 2025 visa changes. Remember, preparation is everything. Whether it's upgrading your English score, choosing the right course, or aligning your occupation with Australia's new priorities, staying informed and proactive will give you the best chance of success. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more detailed updates, and share it with anyone planning to move too. Oh, Australia! And don't forget to leave your questions or experiences in the comments below. I'll be reading them all and replying where I can. Good luck with your visa journey, and I'll see you in the next video.